Guys, thank you for watching my video on watching this. You probably watched my presentation. Here's some information that, assuming any of you are watching this, that I couldn't really get in the presentation for either time reasons, that maybe I couldn't string it together well enough, or it wasn't in my paper. I mean, technically speaking, there was some stuff that wasn't in my paper, but I found it from my sources, and mine's sort of a weird situation where some of my information I can deduce, like the whole 1.4 trillion psi figure. That came from the fact that they mentioned 100 giga atmospheres of pressure. Giga is a prefix that means billion, so 100 billion atmospheres of pressure. 100 billion times I think it's like 14.7, but I don't remember exactly. So I know it's over 1.4 trillion psi. And the actual number for that I got for the 1100 times the speed of sound. That was deduced as well. That was with it actually came out to 1118, and that was with me using 800 miles an hour as speed of sound, even though the actual speed of sound is 767. But that's off track. The main thing I was going to talk about was the fact that when I mentioned the 4 times, if I actually did mention it, because I'm recording this before I actually did the presentation. I've mentioned 4 times more than regular nuclear fuel in terms of energy density. That's kind of a lie. It kind of is and kind of isn't. Because that's 4 times better by mass than uranium fission, correct? So that's true. But the thing is, nuclear reactors don't use pure uranium. Not only do they not use pure uranium, they don't use pure uranium oxide. Um, um, so enrichment is like the level of uranium-235, which is the isotope that's fissile, meaning it's able to undergo fission easily, which is where atoms get broken apart. Is how standard nuclear power works. Um, is the main fissile isotope in uranium. It's naturally at around 0.7%, concentration around 1%, basically. Now, most nuclear power plants run at around 3 to 5%. I've heard numbers as high as 5.5%, and some apparently you can apparently find highly enriched uranium, but I don't know where you'd find that. But nuclear weapons run on weapons grade uranium, which is around 90%. Yeah, so that 4 times is running off of the 100% pure uranium 235, not running off of actual realistic numbers. So in reality, it'd be less like 4 times, because as I mentioned, 3 to 5%, and more like 80 times that. So yeah, like, and by the way, if you want to know what that looks like, this is on whatisnuclear.com. Energy density comparison with nuclear. Nuclear, you can't see that crap. Brightness, brightness, brightness. Turn down the dang brightness. Can you see? No. Okay, good. Good. Now, no, adaptive brightness off. Ta-da. Now you can see. So, get that to work. See these red bars are like energy density fuel, right? That is uranium-235 in a breeder reactor, which is like a more advanced nuclear reactor, okay? Is it not working? Yeah, it wasn't working initially. Wait, sorry. Bring it all the way back to the top. Whoops, it. Not what I meant. Come on. Now it's actually running. This, by the way, was zoomed out all the way. Zoom in. Zoom in, gosh dang it. Zoom in. Now you can see. You can't actually. Let's little comparison as to how tiny you may not be able to notice. Those little blotches down there, those are, alright, coal, natural gas, lithium. No, that's coal. No, that's coal. No, that is coal. That's natural gas, that's lithium. Alright? It's pathetic. Alright, that's conventional. This is basically 80 times that. Yeah, it's truly glorious. Alright, now. That was one of the big things that I'm not gonna say. If y'all don't know this, you probably should know it because I probably explained this in the presentation. But tritium and deuterium are the main isotopes of hydrogen used for fusion. By the way, the fusion glossary exists made by the International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor. Use it. I am begging you. Use it. Like, I can't vouch for its effectiveness because I only discovered it really late on in my research. But, oh my gosh, that would have saved me so much time. I wouldn't have had to have beaten around the bush. We didn't have to cite things when I could have just done that the whole time. It's really, really simple. Yeah. Also, by the way, to that one person who's like a senior, in my public speaking class that was telling people how to make a nuclear reactor. Thank you for that. But also, it's pronounced deuterium, not deuterium. You fool. I'm still waving at you for that. Yeah, deuterium, not deuterium. Now, thank you. Thank you very much. Now, alright, okay, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, there's also some issues with like a reactor tech. Like, okay, one thing that's kind of important to realize this is, again, I don't know if I'm saying this in presentation. Uh, um, a fusion reactor physically can't have a meltdown. It's physically impossible. Not only is it so hard to generate in the first place, but it's just like, ugh, it's also self-destructive because the plasma has to be contained. Because then it keeps expanding outward. Then it's not as close together. Then it can't sustain fusion as well. Inertial confinement reactors actually can't do anything at all, no matter how much you screw with them, because the plasma is already exploding. Yeah, like the National Ignition Facility, which is a place where they happen to be doing inertial confinement fusion testing. It's also used by the Department of Energy. Uh, you don't know this, but the United States' nuclear weapons, those actually fall under the Department of Energy, not the Department of Defense. So yeah, they're being used to replicate the conditions inside of a thermonuclear weapon. So like a hydrogen bomb. They replicate those conditions instead of an inertial confinement reactor. Yeah. So the fuel can't explode because it's already exploding. Also, you can calculate some more things on your own, like the amount of acceleration, considering you only have a few nanoseconds. Technically speaking, this is kind of me ranting here, but you can calculate based off of speed, let's say 10 nanoseconds for the time to stop, going from 400 kilometers per second, it's actually faster than that, to 400,000 meters per second to none, even though it actually it expands outward afterwards, which then means it's actually going even faster than this. In like, let's say 10 nanoseconds. So 1/100 millionth of a second times 400,000 meters per second. If I remember correctly, because I did this math before, it's 40 trillion meters per second, or around 4 trillion Gs. Yeah, inertial confinement fuel, the fuel, is experiencing 4 trillion times its own weight due to the acceleration. Yeah, I calculated that. Yeah, I definitely have better things to do with my life. Yeah. So anyway, to the grand and total of 0 people who are watching, actually, but I hope there's at least one person watching. Thank you. Um, shirt, good shirt. Okay, Faith, fair. I'm unhinged. It's like 11 o'clock. Faith, I acknowledge that. It's like 11 o'clock. Yes, I should have faith. Goodness gracious. It's like 11. Stop doing that. I'm gonna have to cut that out. Actually, I don't know how to cut that out. Okay, ignore that fact. Ignore what you just said. It's like 11 o'clock at night. Okay, like I'm completely insane. Yeah, this is a neurodivergent version personally. Oh gosh, and by the way, LT, if you're looking at this, swear words. My autistic ass. I'm tired. This was a horrible idea. Okay, okay, thank you. Okay. Yeah, calculate a lot. Use the Fusion Glossary. Use the International Atomic Energy Agency website. Use all the sources I mentioned. Use a lot of them. There's a lot of good ones. National Nuclear Facility is really good. They're doing fusion. ITER is an absolute glorious source. They have a massive amount of information, and they're actually building a fusion reactor. You can even contact them if you want, as I did for my interview. Yeah. Honestly, there's also some channels that have done good videos on them. It's on fusion. It's really nice. All right, see you, and bye YouTube.